There we go. Hello, Dr. Nick. Hi, everybody. That's the response to that. And you did nothing. You did not respond at all.
I did not. I didn't even realize that we were live when
We
you
are.
said that.
We have been live. You just don't pay attention.
I don't pay attention. I'm not good at that.
Paying attention?
After 5 o'clock, you're lucky I still function as a person.
Yes, I am very lucky that you function as a person at all. At all. So, let's make fun of some people. What do you think?
I like making fun of people.
Yeah, boy. Alright, so let's see what we got on the Craigslist.
You get a brass eagle talon for $25. I believe that's cheaper than what you paid for it.
No, that's the same as what I paid for it.
A blue raptor for $75. I don't know what raptor
I've covered
is.
your face because who needs to see your face?
Nobody needs to see my face. My face is not important. Come here, baby. Come here, baby.
Shh, Locobobo.
Come here, baby.
Let's see. Paintball markers and accessories. Paintball.
With a brass eagle. Everybody apparently
So,
has these.
$300, you get an A5 with electronic trigger. An Apex barrel.
There you go, baby. Come here.
Put it up. Put the recliner up. And he'll sit on your lap. Brass Eagle Marauder for $300. That people really need to rethink their lives. Did he step on your foot?
No, I rammed my really bad toe that I think is broken into the...
Why'd you do that?
I didn't mean to. I was trying to...
This person here, 2 CO2 tanks, a janky mask, a really old A5, and they're asking $75.
Come on.
But they will negotiate.
Oh, well, thanks. I'll give you $5.
I wouldn't even give
Baby,
$5.
here.
Let's see. 98 custom for $75. Nope. That might be worth $20. 2 Winchester Denangos. I
The
know.
price is... for broke.
I know of them, but I don't know much about them. So $50, I'm sure, is a bit much. Although there might be a collector out there. They're pretty old. $275
For a lot of paintball items.
for a whole bunch of CO2 tanks, an old mask, looks decent though.
Ugh.
Some little CO2 cartridges, a whole bunch of paint, and a whole bunch of old 12 grams. Who knows if they ever even good anymore. And 2 Titman 98s. That's worth, well, the paintballs are worth nothing. The masks might be worth like $5, maybe. Tanks are worth nothing. The 12 gram might be worth something. And then the 98s are worth
And your paintballs are worth 2 things. Shit and nothing.
I don't think they're worth that much.
I don't think they're worth shit. Like, nobody wants your paintballs. Nobody.
Ain't nobody wants your paintballs.
Nobody wants your paintballs.
Ain't nobody wants your paintballs.
I don't know
Let's
what,
see. $120 for some interesting masks.
I mean,
that
that's
might be
a
worth it to
pretty
somebody.
decent mask, but
Yeah.
are you wearing that on the paintball field?
You could.
Quit. I mean, that's, I guess,
No,
airsoft.
that's airsoft. But you could. I mean, that. I think that I wouldn't pay that, but somebody else might. It's not a bad mask. It's just, whatever.
Kids' first paintball gun, $15.
$175 for a janky mask, 2 pods, an old A5, and
No.
2 CO2 tanks.
So, I understand selling your pods, but I can go get a new pod for $2. So,
Dalton, this is in Indiana. You should go get this.
you're...
Dalton, go get this. That's how I feel. I want you to make the deal, meet up with him and be like, yeah, this is worth $3. I will give you 3 $1 bills, and actually
Look
no.
at that cute
I'm
kid's
gonna give you 12 quarters. That's what I'll give you for this.
Look at the cute kid's first paintball gun for $15. I really like that. I don't know why. It's adorable. I don't know.
Yes, it's wonderful, love.
It's adorable.
It's wonderful in every way.
There's more Tippmann paintballs for.
Like I don't know where these people just come up with these prices. Your CO2 tanks are not worth anything. They're just not.
They probably, trying to rationalize what they think. They probably spent money on those CO2 tanks, not knowing that they expire. So they're trying to get.
The CO2s actually don't expire. They're just no good because no one uses CO2 anymore.
Well, you could still get CO2 filled up at.
You can, but like nobody uses CO2 anymore.
We don't have any CO2 tanks, do we?
No, we don't have any.
I mean, that shield's pretty nice.
That's
I
true.
don't know if I would spend $80, but it's not a bad shield.
It's a decent shield. Yeah. So we wanted to just mention
People decided to leave.
we had a total of 3. Now we're down to 0.
We know how to keep them in.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, we wanted to talk about 2 things. One is a definite and the other is a maybe. I don't want to go too much into the maybe just because if it doesn't happen, then why bother talking about it? But also I'm not sure we're allowed to say anything yet. So, but there is a possible generalship for ADOG this year. That should be fun to lead that one. It'll be local here in Pittsburgh. We put our name in for it, but whether or not we'll get it, most likely, I expect we will, but I don't know for sure. And then the definite one, we can announce that one with certainty, unless something like the whole COVID situation messes it up. On August 29th and 30th, so it's a 2-day event. It's at Steeltown Paintball, so also here in Pittsburgh. Hey, Loki. Loki says hi. He's a bit of a camera hog.
He is a bit of a camera. But he's pretty to look at, so it's okay.
Is Hamburger Hill, which is a Vietnam event that Adriana will be the American general for. Who's your XO?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Haven't decided yet. What, Loki? What burger?
I'll figure it out.
That's also going to be Fox's Den family reunion, as they call it, which is just essentially the get-together of the entire national team, or a lot of... Loki, don't stand there. Loki, down. Off. Essentially just the national team. They have a whole bunch of different chapters throughout the country, and they once a year they have something that everyone's supposed to go to, or everyone's supposed to try to get to. This year it's at Steeltown, and it is this game. So that's obviously a local event as well, but it should be a pretty good one. The general for the Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese specifically, is something Lee, or Lee something.
Do you have your phone?
In any case, he's part of Fox's Den, so I guess we're playing against at least part of Fox's Den, if not all of them. I don't know how they
I'm not
distribute.
scared.
I don't know how they distribute their teams.
Not scared at all. Bring it on!
But we've seen a few pictures of what they're doing with the field, and it looks pretty nice. I haven't been there in a while, 2-3 years.
The last time I was there that we played has...
That's been a long.
That's
time.
been a long time.
But the last time I played there was for the two-man in XL with Coco.
Yes.
No, so we didn't play on the
Yes.
woods ball at all.
I remember.
But Hamburger Hill obviously is a hill. But it's from Vietnam, and the Americans assaulted the hill to get the Viet Cong off of there.
And The reason it's called Hamburger Hill, besides it being a hill, it was a 3,000-foot mound, was because of all the sniper fire. Basically, they were getting shot and it looked like meat going through a grinder. Not so like.
And so human
meat
beings
disgusting.
became hamburgers.
Yeah, essentially that's it. And I read a little bit about it to try to figure it out. I'm not very familiar with the Vietnam War. And essentially it took them 10 days to get up to this 3,000 foot hill. And then the Americans were only on the hill. They only occupied it for a few days, I think, before then they left. And people felt that the amount of bloodshed and the amount of casualties didn't make sense based on how long they actually held the hill. And it wasn't that the hill was taken back from them, they just left.
Which I don't know. From what I've seen of it, the Americans lost 70 people, something like 300 and some wounded. The Viet Cong lost over 600 killed. So I'm not saying 70 lives is not important. Every life is important, but in the scheme of things, our 70 to their 600 and something, I think that was a win. But in any case, yeah, the battle was 10 days, and then we held the ground for 10 days, and then just kind of left. And I don't know the reason exactly. I'm still researching it. I don't know exactly the reason why we left, but from what I've gathered so far, it just wasn't strategically important anymore. They did what they set out to do, and the Ho Chi Minh Trail moved at that point, so there was no point in like holding the ground. It didn't do us any good at that point. Which sucks, but at the same point, again, I'm going off of limited information on my side. They accomplished the mission, so it wasn't a waste. They did what they were supposed to be doing, and the reason they left it was because the supply chain moved.
I didn't read the entire article. I
Maybe.
more so wanted to research kind of why it was called Hamburger Hell. And I stumbled across this article on the History Channel, and it basically said that it was controversial because people didn't believe that with the amount of casualties, and it wasn't specific American casualties, but just the number in casualties in general was how I read it. And for how long they actually stayed on the hill, it was a controversial move that people believe was controversial.
They did at the time, anyway. Now, so Steeltown, I don't know if generally this is true, but definitely for this game, definitely without question, it is First Strike round compatible. So if you have First Strikes, come on, bring them to the game. There is free camping. They said there will be a deposit to camp, but as long as you clean up after yourself, you'll get that back.
Is that what you were watching, that live video?
Yeah, they were talking about online. So that's good. So yeah, if you like First Strikes, playing First Strike or not, come out. But the Americans have to run up the hill to take the Viet Cong out from the hill. So.
And, anyone who's a Chapel Hill, Carolina Tar Heel fan, I decided to be Carolina Blue. More so because it's just a very pretty color. I have no real affinity towards UNC Chapel Hill or the Tar Heels. I'm more of a Duke fan, but we're going to be Carolina Blue. Just so you're aware.
She was allowed to choose her color. So there's that. We were assigned the team, but she was allowed to choose the color. So she chose Carolina Blue. We will be heading to the field at some point to look at it, but no hurry on that because it's not until the end of August. Yeah. I do know that Steeltown is open this weekend. I assume they have limited numbers, but they will be there. So if anyone wants to go to Steeltown this weekend, you're welcome to do so.
Is P3 open?
I think P3 is also open. I know they were last weekend with limited numbers, so they were allowing parties, but they open play was limited to 25 people. I assume it's the same this weekend. So if you want to go to P3, you're welcome to do that as well, but you should call ahead and make sure they have room for you. I haven't heard anything about Three Rivers being open or not yet. But so coming up on the 23rd, we have the 2-man tournament. So I'm playing with Dalton. A-Dog was going to play with Nicole, but Nicole can't go or won't go or how I don't know what the situation is, but isn't going. So A-Dog will not be playing as of right now.
Essentially, she lives in a high-risk environment, and she does not want to take any chances, which I fully respect on her behalf.
I didn't say anything bad about it.
No, I'm giving the people more information.
As of right
so
now,
she has
A-Dog's
decided.
not playing. As of right now, she could be our backup if anything happens to me or Dalton. Or if she
Dalton
happens...
There's no way I'm replacing Dalton, because Dalton plays better when he's hurt than most people do on a good day.
Or if there's somebody there who doesn't have a partner, join up with them. Or if anyone watches this and wants to join A-Dog in the 2-man, please let us know so she has a partner.
You do have to be sexy and you have to be small.
Yeah, because her team name is Small and Sexy.
Hi, babe.
So you should at least be small. She can handle the sexy part. But yeah,
or you could be sexy and I'll take care of the small part.
That's on the 23rd. And then on the 30th is the first scenario of the year, not scheduled wise, but now at this point is the first one. As of right now, it is on. It's Mayon. So Mission Masters version of Invasion of Normandy at Three Rivers Paintball. You may remember that from 2 years ago. Adriana was general for the Germans, and guess what? We won. So I don't know yet what team we're going to be on.
That was the year of Ion, or the year of Uder.
That was your year of Germany. That's why you got your German Kunigan tattoo, because she won 3.
My dog is highly loving making out with me right now.
Yes, indeed. So that is on May 30th. Like I said, as of right now, it's on. They're going hard with the advertisements online with it. They said there's no restrictions of numbers as of right now. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
This is my prediction. I have 2.
She has 2 predictions.
I have 2 predictions. Either it's going to be the same as it always is, and that way social distancing will be okay, because usually there's only 60 people there anyway. Or people are so tired of being in their house and all they want to do is sling paint, and there's going to be 150 people there. So either it's going to be standard or very small, but it's already small compared to most scenarios. And it's not because Mission Masters isn't awesome. They just don't get very high numbers, which I find weird because I love Mission Master games.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's Mission Masters. I think it's Three Rivers.
Or everyone's going to be like, let's go sling paint, and there's going to just be so many people there.
Well, or it'll be canceled.
Or it'll be canceled.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but
I mean,
we haven't registered for it yet. We were just talking about this a little bit ago. I'm going to wait until probably like Tuesday the week of, just to make sure it's actually happening. Because I don't want to buy the tickets and then it not happen and have to worry about the refund or whatever. I'll just wait until the week of, make sure it's actually happening, and then I'll register.
which is a shame, because Mayon was really, like, excluding the fact that we won. I liked Mayon. I liked the way they set up the beach. I had a good time with that scenario.
They used a different beach than 68 Caliber usually does, or did. They don't exist anymore, so there's that. But they used a different setting for the beach, which was interesting. And it put a different... I mean, Mission Masters always puts a different spin on things, but it wasn't like a carbon copy. We were worried it was going to be too similar, and it wasn't, so that was nice.
The beach was where the, I guess, hyperball field was, and then you went down into the pit where there's a big creek bed.
I wonder if it's going to be pretty much exactly the same this time as it was last time.
I don't know. They could move it and make it similar to 68 Caliber.
I mean, the
first year, like,
because they're not doing since 68 Caliber isn't doing it. I wonder if they'll use that beach instead. But
they also
what team are you thinking?
I say we go Americans.
She wants to go to American. Actually, we can't go American. We can go British. I I have a British flag. I don't have an American flag.
We can.
Oddly enough. Actually, the reason for that, the reason I don't have an American flag, why don't you have an American flag? Because all my flags are for paintball. And I collect them as I go, but everyone has an American flag. Like, it's not questioning just for the game mechanics. Dean has an American flag. It's part of the game mechanics. I promise you, there's at least one American flag there. I don't want to have the same flag as everyone else, so I'd like to get my own flags. I have a British flag.
Isn't the reason you got the British flag was because you didn't want to take Bunker Hill seriously and you just wanted to have a flag and run around the field with a flag?
Yep, when we went to Bunker Hill, second worst game for me ever, worst game for her, I knew we were going to be tired because it was the weekend after Ion, and I was like, I'm just going to fool around. I'm going to bring a flag with me.
9,000 degrees outside.
Also, it pissed me off that they had the wrong British flag. So I had the correct British flag. And then they left their flag there. So now I have the current British flag and the old British flag.
We're ready to roll out Britain.
So I have the British flag ready for Ion. So that's fun.
We've done a lot of German things, and we're going to be German for Ion. I've already made my point as Queen of D-Day. I don't need to try something new. If it happens. I don't know if it is. Like, the 30th is very close, and so many things have been canceled that have been pre-planned. I don't know if it's just too soon to go out and play paintball. Most people are, like, as the aspect of the game, yes, you social distance, you wear a mask, you usually have gloves on, like, ideal scenario. People don't think about the fact of how social paintball is when you're not on that field. Mm-hmm. And you do spend a lot of time not on that field. When you come off the field, there's water bottles all over the place. How do you know which one's yours? You're going to just grab somebody's water bottle. It's bound to happen. You grab each other's guns to test them out. Masks, like, it's a big, very sharing community, and people don't think about that because you think when you're on the field, you have masks, gloves, you're pretty much, it could be in a hazmat suit, and you're not next to anybody, typically.
Yeah. Paintball does definitely, without question, fit the social distance guidelines when you're playing the game. But yeah, you're exactly right. As soon as you get off the field, or right before you get on the field, everyone's congregating together. You're all talking about what just happened, what's going to happen, what's your plans for the upcoming attack, all that stuff. It's incredibly social when you're not currently playing the game. No one thinks about that. So I really hope that people will think about that for this and any other event. And I hope people bring their masks. I know it's ridiculous. It feels ridiculous when I just took my game mask off. I don't want to put this thing over my face now. Well, do it anyway. I'm going to be bringing mine. She's going to have hers. They're slip right over your ears. It's not like they're hard to put on.
You can actually, we saw
you can make one out of a sock.
You can make one out of a sock.
It's pretty interesting. You can look it up. It takes like 5 seconds. You make it out of a sock. So, it goes over your ears. It covers your face. It goes over your ears. You can make one out of a bra. I've seen that too. It's super easy. Not hard to do. Please bring your masks, everybody. And think of it this way. I know I don't have it. To the best of my knowledge, I don't have it. So I'm fine not wearing a mask. But I don't know that you don't have it. So I want you to wear your mask. And so because I expect and want you to wear your mask, I expect that you want and expect me to wear my mask. So I'm going to wear my mask, you wear your mask. Everyone wears their mask.
I think we're all getting very antsy, and it's been a very long time, and I'm exhausted. I still have my job. I work many hours. I need the release. I need to go shoot paint at people because I am about to slap a bitch is what's going to happen very shortly. I'm exhausted, and I would like to go out, and it's still scary. I'm still scared, and not for me. I don't believe that I have it. If you don't have it, I probably don't have it. We share a lot of things and are in very close proximity. But if it means that you'll wear a mask, if I wear my mask, absolutely. I'm going to be safe and not come near. I've been also, like, I thought about this with our dog, and playing and walking dogs and seeing many people walk dogs. I try very hard when I see a dog, all I want to do is pet it. And just to be safe for that person, I have avoided petting dogs that I see when we walk Loki. And I just think you have to be smart right now and not be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
It's not worth it. There's so many people who have died if wearing a mask for 15 minutes every 45 is going to protect all of us. Please do so. Keep your water bottles all separate, and we can have a great time at paintball on the 31st, or the 30th, excuse me, if we're just smart about what happens when we're off the field, as smart as we are when we're on the field. Baby.
Yeah. And the same goes for the 2-man, but same thing. Everyone please wear your mask as a 2-man. It'll be a little easier. There's a lot less people. So the less people there are, the easier it is to contain. But still, I sure hope everyone wears their mask. I'll have mine. So please bring your mask because, again, on the field, you're fine. There's no issue there. But once you're done, just think about what you do once you get off the field. As you're walking off the field, whether it be open play or a scenario or a tournament, anything, as you're walking on the field, what do? You say, hey, did you see what I did there? Did you see that shot that I made? Did you what happened when this person ran up there? What'd you do? You're talking to the person, and naturally we sit this close to each other. We stand this close to it. When you're talking to somebody, you want to get closer so you don't have to scream at each other. That's just what happens. You don't think about it. It's a natural reaction. So, first of all, keep your distance. But secondly, wear your mask. That's what I got to say. But on the 30th, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to play. It should be a lot of fun. The 23rd is happening. Unless something drastic happens, that game is happening. That's the 2-man tournament.
And that's always less than... There's less than
the most they ever have is 10 teams, which means there's 20 people plus the staff.
So there's less than 40 people there, and
you're looking at 25, maybe 30 people total, including staff.
I'm sure they're, and I don't know this, but I'm assuming they're just not going to let you watch people play.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you got to have your mask on
anyway. You have to have your mask on when you're watching. But so there's everyone should keep in mind. A paintball mask is not the same as a COVID mask. They're like a surgical mask. It's not the same thing. They're made to be more breathable. So because they're more breathable, all that dangerous spittle and stuff can get through that. So just keep that in mind. That is not the same thing. So when you're playing paintball, when you're off the field or on the field and you're talking to each other, just keep that in mind. That is not the same type of mask. Which actually made me angry, something that happened back when Stalingrad was still going to happen at Skirmish. They put out a list of 10 reasons you should still come to Stalingrad, and one of them was you're always wearing a mask. And you're always 6 feet apart, at least. And I thought, well, as we've said several times at this point, yeah, on the field, but not off the field, first of all. Secondly, and I commented on it, and I said, I'm very excited for this game, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't have the game, because at that point, it hadn't been stay-at-home orders or anything like that yet. There was to a certain degree, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as extensive yet. And I said, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't have it. What I am saying that you should absolutely not do is imply that a paintball mask is the same as a surgical mask or an N20, what is it? N65 mask. They are not the same thing. Do not imply that they are. That actually made me mad because I'm sure there are people that read that and thought, oh, then it's perfectly safe.
And if you think, I just thought about this, where when you wear a paintball mask, you can still get shot in your, right here and get paint all up in the face. You put a COVID mask on, before you put your mask on, you will get no paint up in that mouth.
That's true. If you have them both on.
I'm sure
I don't think I will be wearing both. That sounds difficult to breathe.
I'm sure that's horrible to breathe, and I'm not suggesting anybody do that. But what I am it was just a thought that came to my mind that it would not have, you would not taste paint.
And I'm not trying to, and that actually brings up a point. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't think it's an issue. But think about this for a second. Even if it's not for the talking to each other close, masks not actually being what they're for. Let's imagine somebody that has COVID playing with their paintballs. They put them in their gun and then they shoot you in the mask and it sprays all over your face through the mask. You know, you get paint in your mouth all the time. It happens. Well, that means that person that had COVID on their hands, put on their paintball, put in the gun, shot at you, and now it's in your mouth. So, be careful, be smart, people, because it can happen. So if you want to wear your mask under your mask, it's not a bad idea. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, look, somebody finally joined us.
That's fun.
Don't know who
Hi,
it is.
other person.
Hi, other person. Just as we're finishing up, they finally join us.
There's still I'm going to discussing Stalingrad. Right now, Ion's still up, but they're right now they're having a great paint discount for early registration, and if that game has over 4,000 people. Now you probably only see about 150 at any given time, but it's still up. No one has said that it's been canceled yet. There's no word of it canceling, but I know for German Command, we are all about register now because they may cut the numbers and they may not be able to have 4,000. So, but if they still have it, you still have a chance of being there.
Yep. Not only that, for that reason, pre-register, but also it's like $15 cheaper to pre-register as far as registration
like 40, isn't it?
But paint typically goes for $99. Right now, up until May 13th, so you're running out of time, you can get it for $55. So I strongly suggest you buy yourself some paint, but you have to pre-register to do that. So, and with Stalingrad, I was pre-registered, Dalton was pre-registered. They offered either a full refund or what we did was we applied it to our Ion tickets. So if Ion were to get canceled or delayed, I feel quite certain they're going to do the same. You can go, they offered we could use it for Ion, we could use it for Berlin, or we could use it for next year's Ion. So if they cancel this year's Ion, you just use it for next year's. So if you're thinking about going, if you plan on going unless it's canceled, get your pre-registration done now, and then if it does, deal with it at that point. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have it. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets canceled. But if they have it, it will actually actively surprise me if they don't limit the numbers. Because average is about 4,000, usually between 35 and just over 4,000 people. So,
has it ever been under 4 since we started going?
Oh, yeah.
I don't pay attention. I just sit there and
so
try to shoot people.
That's a lot of people. I would be surprised if they didn't have to cap it at something. And for me, it raises the question of what is the cap going to be, and at what point does Skirmish say, you know what, it's not worth us holding it for any less than such. Like let's say the state says they have to cap it at 1,000 people. That wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I'd be surprised if they are not supposed to cap at 500. At what point does Skirmish say we're not going to make any money off of that? We're actually going to lose money, so let's just not have it. Like that wouldn't surprise me. What do you think?
I just try to think about how big that field is. And not that you can't find a firefight at some point, but how fun is that game really going to be for the people who get that rush from 4,000? So, without it being a money-making thing, because I think Skirmish makes their budget alone on just the paint flung in the 2 hours of the beach.
That is true.
So, I don't think it's necessarily Skirmish isn't going to lose any money. They probably have already made it. But you've said numerous times, would you go to Ion and not skirmish, just go to Ion if it wasn't the largest game of the year? So I think their reputation and the reason that game is as popular as it is because there's 4,000 people shooting at each other. And that's what makes it the experience. Whether that's the game you like to play or not, and whether you want it to be under 2,000, and I'm sure it would still be okay at 2,000, but that field is pretty damn big. And that the experience alone of the beach is why people go back. It's so much paint being flung and it's coming from all directions. And I'm sure for the Americans, it's scary as hell. And it's probably the adrenaline of why they come back every year. So I would have to think, is this really the Ion that I want to spend? Even one case of paint, you're going to spend that in an hour on the beach, one case of paint. And then, what, $55 to get in? Is it worth it to lose the experience of what Ion is?
They might, if their numbers are capped, they might limit, like, instead of having 5 beaches, they might only have 3. That wouldn't surprise me if they did something like that.
You definitely.
Because if they're limited to, like, let's say 1,000 people, well, that's 3 times less than they're normally having. So, can you fill for 5 beaches? I don't know if you'll have enough men for that.
And do you really want to have all those people crammed into a beach, like into a container? It's not really a container, but a semi-box.
Well, I don't know about any of that, but that actually kind of goes against my point.
Yeah,
Honestly.
it does go against your point. But July, I know probably in March, we were all thinking, well, May's a long time away. And right now, where we are is the same distance July is from March to May. And we're still in lockdown. I think Governor Wolf, what he opened up golf courses? I'm not sure. Somebody told me that some woman that I was.
They're open.
So, like, what's really the difference? Are locker rooms open on these golf courses? Because if you're showering with a man 3 feet away from you naked, like, that's probably not too good. But being on the golf course, very similar to paintball. Golf and paintball, you're not close to, and when you're actually playing golf, you're not next to somebody.
True.
And you're outdoors. I guess that's a little bit better than being inside an arena. So I don't know if.
Unfortunately, seeing what happened in California with their beaches does make me worry even more for things like Ion. Not even just Ion, all of them, honestly. Because if you're not familiar, just to brief what happened, 2 counties opened their beaches in California, and everyone from all over the state ran to the beaches. They were very excited about it, and there were just people on top of each other at the beaches. And the governor was like, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. They opened them. You're supposed to still have your you're still supposed to be distanced. You're not, but they weren't. These people were absolutely stupid. They were excited to get out, which I understand. They're super excited to get out because in LA, all you have is a little apartment. You want to get out of your house. They wanted to go to the beach, which is wonderful. I agree. I'd want to go to the beach too. But then they didn't distance. They all congregated together, playing volleyball, playing this, that, and the other thing, swimming together. All the things you're not supposed to be doing right now, they started doing. So they closed the beaches again. And unfortunately,
That's gonna.
That might ruin it for everyone else. Everyone's going to see what happened there and say, well, people can't have nice things. They're going to ruin it. So things like paintball you should be able to do because they're outside, but they're going to see what happened there and say, well, these people are going to be fools, and as soon as they get off the field, they're going to congregate again. Or people that don't play paintball are going to assume that you're going to be together the whole time. And it's going to ruin it for all of us. We can't have nice things.
And we shouldn't. I mean, they have to at some point open up the things and start getting things back to normal. At some point, that has to happen. But we still have to be smart about it so it doesn't come back. And it's really just about how you handle once things start reopening. And I feel that you have to play paintball smart, excluding all of the scary shit that's happening right now. So why wouldn't you play life smart? Like, I just don't get, like...
I like the Skittles analogy. If someone gives you a bag of Skittles, there's 100 Skittles in there, and 2 of them are poison. Are you going to eat the Skittles, or are you just going to throw out the whole bag? You have a 98% chance if you eat some Skittles, you're good. But there's a 2% chance that you'll die. What do? I personally would just throw out that bag of Skittles. So my point is, if there's a 2% mortality rate on this thing, be careful with it. You know, I want to go play paintball. I'm very excited to go play paintball, and I think we all should. Just be smart about it. Don't be dumbasses. Wear your masks. Keep socially distanced. Don't go sharing stuff, waters and all that stuff. If you give somebody a water, make sure it's an unopened bottle and they don't give it back.
And Three Rivers has a bathroom with water and soap. P3 has water and soap. Paintball's already a disgusting game. Like, you are grimy and gross after every match, or you should be. Like, even wearing gloves, you get just gross. So what? You're gonna wash your hands? Wash your hands. Like, just be a little bit more cleaner than you usually are.
Yep, that too. Bring hand sanitizer. But mostly, just wear your mask. When you're not on the field, take your face mask off and put on your regular everyday go to the store mask. Have it with you in your pocket, just like you do. You have your rags. You have your rag with you and your barrel sock and everything. As you take your paintball mask off, put your COVID mask on.
You wouldn't. I guess that's our new protocol. You wouldn't be in staging without your barrel sock. You shouldn't be in staging without your masks now.
True. Well, for anyone that's just skipping to the end of this, the news was that Adriana is officially general for Hamburger Hill at Steeltown Paintball.
I crave power too much.
August 29th and 30th. 2-day event, free camping, and first strike friendly. So, we'll see you guys there. Have a good night.
Luke says bye.